Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the second Facilitator Networking meeting. For those of you who I haven't met before, my name is Jemma, and we also have Alex. We are one of the two health promotion team leaders of the Country Kitchens program. On the call today, we also have Meg, our state program manager. So the session this morning is being recorded. So we've already got our cameras off, which is great. So I don't need to remind about that. Also, just a reminder to please use your mute button when you're not speaking, but we do want this morning's session to be interactive, so feel free to use the chat function. We will have time to periodically kind of check in and ask for questions. So if you do want to ask anything of myself or Alex or Meg even, feel free to come off mute and just ask at those junctures. So I'd just like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land from which we're presenting from today, the Turrbal and Yagara people, for those of us in the office, along with the traditional owners of where you're all joining us from today. And I pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging.
Okay, so I've got a bit of an agenda up on the slide there for today's session. So we'll start the meeting off with a presentation from Jemma and I. So we'll just give you a bit of an update on the program and a few special projects that we're working on this year. And then we'll move on to some tips for planning for a successful 2025. And then we'll finish the session off with a Q&A session. So just an opportunity to ask any questions that you might have. So we wanted to first kick things off by reflecting on all the wonderful work that our Country Kitchens facilitators do. So you may have already seen this 3-year report that the team put together, but basically it's just a bit of an overview of the achievements of the program throughout the most recent 3-year funding period, so from July 2021 to June 24. So it does include some key photo highlights from across the state, as well as a few activity highlights from each division. So a copy of the report was emailed to all of our facilitators and division presidents in October. And it was also in the Express newsletter that went out to all QCWA members. So we are now in our 10th year of ongoing program funding, which is amazing, and definitely a credit to all of those who have been involved since the program's inception. So I've just got a few highlights to share over the next couple of slides. So as you can see, over the 3 years, facilitators have collectively delivered over 3,500 community activities, and those activities did reach an estimated 57,000 community members. And we have about 171 partnerships with like-minded community groups and organisations all across the state. And we have also had 42 facilitators complete all 6 levels of our training pathway, which is amazing. And as you can see on the right-hand side of the slide there, our social media reach does continue to grow those 3 years as well.
Great. So for the next financial year, the Country Kitchens program does have a number of key priorities that we wanted to share with all of you today. So firstly, as you know, we're always looking for new facilitators, particularly from branches who don't currently have one. So our target by June 30 this year is to recruit 8 new branches. So if you do know any members or branches that may be interested in joining, if you could please encourage them to register as a facilitator or just get in touch with their CK buddy. So we're also going to be hosting these online regional facilitator networking meetings. So we had the first session in September and had a total of 33 attendees across those 3 meetings for each region. So 139 views of our video recordings, which was great. And we also received positive feedback from facilitators in the follow-up surveys, hence why we're running the second session again today. So we do hope to continue holding the meetings approximately once a quarter, but we do want this to be led by you, our facilitators. So if you have any suggestions for topics that you'd like to see covered in these sorts of meetings, please just reach out to the team. We're also working on a number of special projects for the rest of this year. So that includes our Healthier Supermarkets pilot, a Sit Less, Move More walking group initiative, and we're also looking to review levels 4 through 6 of the training pathway. So I'll go into some more detail about these projects over the next few slides. So I mentioned that one of our key priorities for this current financial year is the new Healthier Supermarkets pilot project. So if you were at State Conference, we did kind of announce the beginning of this, but we have made a little bit of progress, which is exciting. So basically, research has found that customers do want to make healthy choices when they're shopping, but they find that the way products are priced and promoted in supermarkets or food retailers is a barrier to that. So customers do really want support from supermarkets to help them choose healthier food and drink options. So over the past 12 months, our Country Kitchens facilitators have been promoting the program as well as associated recipes within local supermarkets and stores. So in a couple of different areas. So we have a small number of supermarkets out in Western Division that have had ongoing displays promoting recipes, as well as the inclusion of seasonal recipe posters with QR codes that link back to the recipe on our Country Kitchens website. So to further all of that work that's been going on over the last year, we did think that there may be opportunities to support improving the healthiness of local stores and supermarkets more broadly out across the state. So we did hold our first consultation for this exciting new project on October 16 in Emu Park. And discussion really included how facilitators can get involved, sharing of valuable ideas and community insights, as well as a bit of a brainstorm around ways to roll out the project. So this initiative really is going to aim to empower facilitators to engage local stores as health promotion partners. Also, to promote fruits and vegetables in supermarkets. And we're really hoping to enhance customer awareness of the Country Kitchen's 5 key messages, particularly get more fruit and veg into your meals and cook at. So as a result of this consultation, the team have developed a title and branding for our pilot project. So it's going to be known as Supermarket Superheroes. So this takes inspiration from the successful Hero the Veg social media campaign that you may have seen that we ran around mid last year. So participating stores will promote fruits and vegetable superheroes, and the hope is that it will inspire shoppers to incorporate these items into their meals. So by associating fruits and vegetables with superhero imagery, the campaign's really aiming to make healthy eating fun, engaging, and accessible for everyone. So the overall goal of our project is really looking to increase the sales of fruits and vegetables in these couple of pilot sites that we're going to have. And they will be rural or regional supermarkets or stores across Queensland. So the objectives of the project, we're really looking firstly to increase the capacity of our facilitators to engage local supermarkets as community partners for health promotion. We're also, as I mentioned, hoping to increase the promotion of fruits and vegetables in the participating local supermarkets or stores, and also really increase that customer awareness of those 2 key messages that I mentioned. So to bring the campaign to life, the team will be looking to develop and provide some educational materials, and that's going to include in-store collateral such as posters, we make some recipe cards and shelf tags that will kind of feature this superhero produce and branding. So by positioning all of this kind of marketing collateral strategically in store, we're really hoping that the campaign resources will boost produce sales, which is going to benefit both the store and the community by fostering those healthier eating habits. So we are currently engaging with 3 potential pilot stores across the state. one in each of our QCWA regions. So in Northern, we're going to be looking to Dimbula. In Central, there's a store in Emu Park, and in Southern, St George, which is continuing that work that I mentioned with the recipe posters. So watch this space with this project.
Okay, so another opportunity this financial year is to promote our Sit Less, Move More key message through the formation of walking groups. So you may have already seen a little bit about this pop up on our social media, but we've really had members and facilitators be involved with a number of Sit Less, Move More activities throughout the program's history. So this includes 10,000 Steps community projects. We've had community walks in Tannum Sands and Boyne Valley, which were hosted by Port Curtis Division, as well as a few Queensland Walks Month Steps activities. You might have also seen that Mount Larkin branch have had a long-standing walking group, with other branches looking to follow in their footsteps. So we are currently developing, or we've already developed some resources to support you to set up a walking group with your branch or community. So we've put together a set of guidelines, as well as a few physical resource packs for walking group participants. So you'll see up on the screen now a hat, some water bottles and pedometers. And there are other tools to support you, such as the Queensland Walks Walk My Street checklist. So this is a tool that can help you to advocate for more walkable, rollable and strollable streets in your community. But we have just recently launched these guidelines at international conference just this weekend gone. So if you are interested in getting a copy of the guidelines, reach out to your Country Kitchens buddy, and those guidelines will just step you through, what resources are out there and how you could go about with starting a walking group. That's something that you or your branch would be interested in.
Sorry, it's run through the slides a little bit too prematurely. Great.
All right. And then the other sort of key project that was touched on is just the review of levels 4 and 5 and 6 of the training pathway. So our hands-on nutrition workshops and our Back to Basics series of workshops have had some really good uptake over the past few years. However, we have also received some really valuable feedback from facilitators running those workshops, and we have identified some opportunities to really refine the delivery of these workshops. So we are just working through reviewing the format of those level 4 hands-on nutrition workshops, just to have a bit more of a focus on developing food literacy and culinary skills of participants. So these workshops are targeted to adult audiences, and will include also an update to the nutrition education flipbook content that's delivered by facilitators, as well as a more general review of the recipes and resources that participants take home. And then given the success and popularity of our Cooking on a Budget workshops, we're looking to also develop 4 distinct workshops under this theme. So these could be delivered in isolation as one-off workshops or with the same group as a bit of a series. And we will also be looking to refine the healthy lunch boxes and the cooking for 1 or 2 themed workshops, as well as the more sort of general standard hands-on nutrition workshop, just to really be able to offer a bit more flexibility in the types of recipes prepared, and just if you do want to give those workshops a bit of a theme, such as a country of study workshop, we're trying to make that a little bit more possible as well. And so the revised level 5 will instead focus on cooking workshops specifically for children, as we do have lots of facilitators partnering with schools to deliver these sessions. And then we are also looking to review our level 6 advocacy training, and this is just to ensure that it aligns a bit more with the QCWA advocacy process and procedures. So watch this space. We'll hopefully have more details about all of that shortly. So does anyone have any questions on anything that was covered so far or any of our projects over here?
No questions. Great.
Sorry, Jeanette, did you have a question? I've just seen you taking yourself off mute, so I just wanted to make sure.
No, I answered no.
Awesome. Okay, so before we get into the final section of this morning's session, we just wanted to touch a little bit on activity planning for Country Kitchen. So obviously being still quite at the start of the new year, it's really the perfect time to start thinking about what Country Kitchen's activities that you and your branch might undertake during 2025. So setting aside some time to plan, of course, can really assist with recruiting helpers. It's going to help to avoid any clashes with other events and also ensure that there's enough time for your Country Kitchen's buddy to organise any resources and equipment that they might need to coordinate or send to you for your activities. So if you receive our NutEd e-newsletter, it's a monthly e-newsletter that comes to all of our facilitators via email. And the January edition did focus on this topic, so Country Kitchen's activity planning for 2025. And that edition of the newsletter really outlined a number of considerations and also included a brainstorming activity for you to help plan your year. So this included 3 steps. And you can see a picture of the planning template that came with the NutEd on the screen there. So the first step is to think about setting some goals. So it can be really helpful to set some broader goals by asking yourself, really, what do you want to achieve with the program? Or where would you like to focus your efforts this year? So it's also quite important that our goals align with the association's overall mission. To make sure that we are having a positive social impact across communities. So the next step then would to be assess your community. So consider the needs and characteristics of your community and identify, any potential groups that you might want to or could work with. So every community is different and you and your branch are really in the best position to understand those unique needs and attributes of the community that you belong to. So consider the groups that you or your branch may have expressed interest in the program, or maybe people that you've partnered with in the past at community events or other activities. So that can be a good place to start. And then finally, planning your activities then. So once you've set your goals for the year, identify those groups that you would like to work with, then it can be a good time to sit down and decide which activities would be most suitable. So, for example, if your goal is maybe this year to raise awareness about your branch and the program within your community, you might consider a Country Kitchen showcase as a really good place to start. So on the flip side, if your goal is to teach people about healthy school lunches, you might like to reach out to your local school. And that could then be a great avenue to reach out to parents and caregivers and maybe consider even running a healthy lunchbox themed hands-on nutrition workshop. So once you've set your yearly plan, it's also important to communicate this information back to your branch, just as a heads up, so that other members and your branch executive are aware of the activities that you are planning to undertake over the year. So I mentioned that template has been provided to help you work through each of those sections. And just a reminder, if you haven't already, we really do encourage you to read through that January edition of NutEd and set up a meeting then as kind of the next step if you have other facilitators in your branch, and maybe you could sit down and complete that activity together. So that's everything for planning.
So as I mentioned, the last sort of part of this meeting is an opportunity for questions. You might have some activities coming up that you would like to share the details of, or if you've got any questions about any of the special projects we've listed, feel free to ask away. And we did also want to take this opportunity to ask for some suggestions on what you would like to see or hear from us at Northern Region Conference. So Feel free to pop yourself off mute. You did have.
Anyone have, maybe just to start with, any ideas of the activities that you're hoping to run this year, just to share with everyone else?
Yeah, in Freshwater Branch, we've got a community market, so we'll have a country kitchen stand there in April. April, yeah.
April.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah.
I do have a question, and I've been asked this on numerous occasions. With the ladies that are coming off properties, they always ask, why are we using manufactured margarine rather than butter, which is what they've, they said it's pure and natural. And I get that on a regular basis from my country, coming off the cattle stations and that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, look, there is a lot of misconceptions around, I guess, the healthiness of margarine. I guess the main reason that we prefer margarine over butter is that it's a lot lower in saturated fats. So saturated fats do fall under the category of unhealthy fats. So good for our heart. Really, I think some of that misconception did start because of the way that margarine was produced in the past. So we have come a long way since then. So the way that it was produced did lead to trans fats in the past. That is no longer the case today. And butter actually does contain more trans fats and more saturated fats than margarine.
So if I do a Google, then I can give them comparisons. Yeah.
So even things like the Heart Foundation website. Really break down kind of and dispel those, I guess, historical misconceptions. So really, we just want to have those unsaturated type sources that are better for our heart health.
Okay.
Overall.
That's easy. I can fix that one.
Yep.
Yeah. Great. Wonderful. Thanks, Deb. Anyone else have anything that they want to share about upcoming activities?
Jeanette Weston. I suppose I'm just getting back into things slowly, but I did join the walking group and I'm hoping to let the others know that I'm part of it. It's through the Heart Foundation, but it's inside the shopping centre. So it's in air conditioning for us, makes it easier.
Necessary up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a great point, I guess, for anyone else on the call or watching this later at home. It doesn't need to be, a walking group that you set up yourself. What our guidelines really are encouraging are, if there is existing groups or something in your community, look to tap into those. And that can be a way to even, increase connection or awareness of your branch. And then, you might even find opportunities like in shopping centres with air conditioning, which makes it a little bit easier because, it's very tough to exercise outside in the heat up north this time of year for sure.
This week especially.
Yeah, and with the rain. So always good to have different options for walking. Great, thanks, Jeanette. Any other activities from anyone on the call? No. And what about as we wrap up, does anyone have any suggestions? If you have been to any of the Northern Region conferences before, at Country Kitchens, we always do attend those conferences and provide a little bit of an update or an overview or presentation. Is there anything specifically that you would like to see from us rather than kind of the usual update, or is there a particular topic or any ideas that anyone has that would be relevant, useful?
No, you always do a good job.
Well, if you do think of something, we will send out a survey after this meeting. So there is a question in there specifically about the region conferences. So if you think of something between now and then, let us know.
Yeah.
All right. And
sorry. Just to add to that briefly, I guess last year we did have really good feedback when we had facilitators sharing some of their activities that they've been involved in. So if anyone is interested in doing that, that's certainly something we'll look to do again, because we did, as I say, have really good feedback on that. So if people are willing to share their sort of Country Kitchens story or their involvement with the program, it would be much appreciated. So do just let us know if you are willing and able.
Excellent. All right. Any final questions before we wrap up? No.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you all for coming along to the meeting this morning. So as Jemma mentioned at the start, we have recorded it, so we will send a link to the recording shortly, as well as the feedback survey that I mentioned. So just a few questions on how you found it all this morning, and if you do have any suggestions or other things you'd like the team to answer, you can pop those in that survey as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks
Thank
again for joining us, and hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Hopefully see you at the next one.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Bye.